This is Homefront Headlines. I'm Amanda Weinstein, and
I'm Casey Weinstein.
And we are coming to you from different locations today. I'm on a work trip. Casey is on the home front, holding the home front down.
I've got headlines from the home front. We've had quite a few this week.
So many to choose from. Can we start with like the worst of the worst, which has got to be Pete Hegseth? Tell us a little bit more about Pete Hegseth.
Yeah, and fair warning, our cat is just all over me lately. So she's gonna make an appearance. This is our new cat, Oreo. So Oreo, say hi to the world. Okay. Yeah, I'm really interested in your perspective on this because we knew about so much about him. He's got, he's basically an extremist. He's got these extremist tattoos that have prevented him from being able to serve in the Guard in the past. He's got, just
wait, stop.
Yeah.
So he's not allowed to serve in the Guard, but
he's going to be our Secretary of Defense. Yeah. It's fine. This is fine. The meme with the dog.
Definitely, I've seen someone else with it. He's definitely like the DUI hire here, really.
The DUI hire. Did you see, by the way, the senators attacking DEI in the military this week, except they misspelled military?
Yeah. This is the quality of people that we have in our Republican Party today of the MAGAs, that they can't spell military as they are attacking the military.
We got some DEI senators. Apparently, we need to work on our in their vernacular. Yeah, when you lower standards for these guys to get in, can't spell military.
That's exactly right.
Yeah,
I mean, we have to lower standards to below Guard standards to really be putting this guy in, because like these are the people that they want to hire that are completely unqualified for a variety of reasons, even forgetting the things like, sexual assault and white supremacy, which seem pretty bad. Even forgetting those, just simply not qualified based on experience as a leader in anything, let alone a leader in the military.
About to lead the world's largest bureaucracy, right? The DOD.
Yes. Yeah.
With our nation's security on the line. But I thought the Democrats did an excellent job holding him accountable in his hearing. And I think the highlights were Kirsten Gillibrand and Tammy Duckworth, in particular, coming after him for his repeated sexual assaults, infidelities. Sorry, again with the cat. But,
Kirsten Gillibrand has done a ton to support women and men in the military who have been assaulted and making sure that they receive justice by having an independent counsel to hold people accountable.
You've been following that for years.
Right? This is very nice, and this is what we should be doing. But this is so that we can have the most competitive fighting force in the world, right? This is not about, honestly, it's not about being DEI or anything. It's about making sure that we have the most qualified people. And the truth is, to get the most qualified people, we need men, we need women, and we need those men and women to be from diverse background and have diverse experiences so that we can be the most lethal fighting force in the world.
Gosh, that is well said. And in particular, Duckworth, who, was a combat veteran, who has the literal wounds and scars to show for it, and is also a mom and is also a U.S. senator, went after him on his.
About her. She's a combat veteran when women weren't allowed in combat.
Right.
Weren't allowed in combat. That's in quotes there for a reason.
Right.
Women have always been in combat.
I'm telling you, she's been on me all morning. She really likes me. And I'm the one who really didn't want a cat, but here we go. I've got the cat.
We will not be able to convince, I think, we're not, I don't know, people aren't convinced that he's not qualified because in Trump's cabinet, qualifications are not what they are going for.
I know. But in particular, can you talk as a female veteran? And we've got classmates and friends who have served all over the world. Can you talk to what it means as a woman for him to say women don't belong in combat roles or in the front lines? How does that? Yeah.
One, that's ridiculous. Women have fought to be in combat because they are good at it. We know that helicopter pilots, they actually have better records than than the men out there. Sorry, men, they're great too, right? It just happens that women have a better track record with helicopter, right? And when I was in the military, I did things like program drones. I did things like use data to figure out which aircraft would be the best for us to purchase for a long-run investment in our force. I did things like manage the supply chain metrics that went up to our Secretary of the Air Force, right? All of those things don't require a penis to do. And if you're flying a plane with a penis, you're doing it wrong. It's just ridiculous to say anything what he's saying about how women can't be, how we're lowering standards, or any of that. It's just flat out ridiculous. He doesn't understand our military to be saying things like that. And I think that's what you saw with Tammy Duckworth's question. He doesn't understand our military. He doesn't even understand our world or where certain countries are or what countries are where, right? He is not qualified, plain and simple, and making statements that women aren't qualified when all of the data suggests otherwise.
Sure. What is the highest level of international security agreement that you have led? And can you name some that the Secretary of Defense would lead? There's three main ones. Do you know?
I have not been involved in international security arrangements because I have not been in government other than serving in the military. So my job has been to
no. The answer is, can you name one of the three main ones that the Secretary of Defense
You're talking about defense
signs?
arrangements. I mean, NATO might be one that you're referring to.
Status of Forces Agreement would be one of them.
Status of Forces Agreement. I've been a part of teaching about Status of Forces Agreements.
But you don't remember to mention it? You're not qualified, Mr. Hegseth.
Yeah, and in particular, you got a guy with ties to Christian nationalism coming in, and one of the hotbeds as always is going to be the Middle East. And you want to talk about somebody trying to inflame on his body. I mean, he put this on his body. Religious wars. It's just that has never gone well for us ever, for anyone. No.
So if we want to try and increase peace around the world and reduce the conflicts we are in, he is definitely not the guy for that. If that is what you want, if you want any type of reduction in the amount of conflicts we have around the world, he is one who will increase conflicts, not only around the world, but within the world, right? When we're thinking about, as terrible of a guy is, and let's be clear, I think we all know he's pretty terrible of a guy. I even think Republicans know that, right? How is this going to affect us? He's also made statements that he would use the military to attack our own cities within America, right? Yeah. This is not a good direction and the potential to be quite bad.
Amanda, it hasn't even started yet, and I'm completely exhausted by the Trump presidency. But it's coming at us. Coming at us next week. So how about on the
flip side, we have Biden, who has negotiated a ceasefire.
Right. And let's take this moment to recap. And we got some nice data. I know you love data. We got some nice data this week. In addition to this historic ceasefire that Biden laid out the groundwork for 6 months ago, and then Antony Blinken, our Secretary of State, has been relentless about getting done. We got good inflation data. We got great jobs numbers. We got massive infrastructure and chips dollars going out, huge new projects being completed. Pete Buttigieg has been amazing lately about highlighting the huge amount of investment and dollars that this administration has put into our infrastructure. Just a reminder, Trump talked every week of his presidency about his first presidency about trying to do infrastructure week. It became a joke, and then Biden got it done. And we have this historic investment, and we see it in Ohio. We see it in our community because we just got funding for a rail grade separation in Hudson, where we live, that we've been working for years. The impact of this presidency, as only one term, but it will be felt for many years, and I think history will reflect very, very positively on the Biden presidency.
I think history will, as long as we have the historians on our side, which we do right now, and we're saying it. But we're already seeing Trump take credit for ceasefires, for we're going to see Trump take credit for all of this. We're going to see Trump take credit for the whole goal that the Fed set out when inflation was out of control, was we need a soft landing. We need the economy to cool. We need it to cool to a point to where inflation comes down and we're more stable when it comes to both inflation and unemployment. And all of the indicators suggest that they did exactly that. Yeah. My worry with that is the Fed is, when they're figuring out interest rates and figuring out how they should deal with things like inflation, they're independent of the federal government. They're independent of Biden. Biden can say he wants the Fed to do this or that. They're going to do what they think should be done based on the data, based on monetary metrics, based on macro metrics of inflation, of unemployment, of jobs, of all of that. The worry I have with that is Trump would like to do away with that. Trump and
the independence. You mean the independence of the Fed?
Absolutely. He wants loyalists that are throughout the government. He does not want an independent Fed who would do things like raise interest rates, even if it might be unpopular with a president or people. He does not want that. He wants to be able to tell the Fed and every organization in government what to do. And he has absolutely no experience or ability to tell anyone.
What could go wrong, Amanda?
Ooh,
what could go wrong?
He's looking for a make America a greater recession. Like, you know what? You saw that great recession. I'm going to go bigger. It's going to be huge.
Yeah.
This is what he is doing. And so I've seen a lot of forecasts lately. All the forecasts suggest soft landing with a lot of uncertainty. Where is that uncertainty coming from? One person. That one person is Trump. And the uncertainty is, holy shit, I don't know what's going to happen to the economy if he goes bonkers on tariffs, which he might go bonkers on tariffs.
On that note, important note about tariffs. They're not a one-way street. This week, Canada announced that it has $105 billion of tariffs ready to go immediately. And guess what? Guess what we get the vast majority. Guess where we get the vast majority of our eggs from? Canada. Canada is our closest. Canada and Mexico are by far our closest trading partners. Believe me, they have retaliatory tariffs ready to go the second that we launch on them. Our closest allies and neighbors, instead of threatening to invade Canada or make them become a state or threaten tariffs that they can retaliate on, maybe we should be trying to lower the temperature and taking advantage of the fact that we have these peaceful neighbors who are our best trading partners who want to do more with us. It is absolutely insane. Stuff's going to get more expensive really quick. And it's not just on the tariffs coming in. It's on our stuff going out, which is going to make us less competitive around the world. And other countries will absolutely, namely China, India, other countries will step right into that void and become their biggest trading partner. And we will be it will be an inflection point and a long-term damaging wound to our economy.
And it's not just prices, right? High prices suck. We all know this. We don't like paying more for the, eggs we buy at the grocery store. It also will make it harder to get eggs, period. It will also make it harder to get things like lumber that we need to build houses. Everyone says we have a housing shortage across America. I have not seen any legitimate person say otherwise. That means we need to build more housing. How are we going to do that without lumber? How are we going to make cars without all the parts we need from Canada? We won't be able to do it.
Mexico. Yeah. So even if Trump's now I heard them walking back, well, maybe we'll ramp up the tariffs. Doesn't matter. There will be an immediate and significant and massive impact, both on the cost of goods we're paying for and a damage to our economy, making our goods more expensive overseas and less competitive. And that is going to affect jobs. That is going to cost people jobs. And that sucks. But it is coming at us like a freight train. But I want to pivot. And we always like to end on a positive note. And even though this is not, of course, positive news, I do want to take a second to look at and examine the legacy of Jimmy Carter, because what a life of service. A Naval Academy grad, which, as we know, is the second best service academy.
Air Force Academy would be.
I got my Air Force Academy saved right there. Right. What an incredible life of service, and somebody who in his one term had a lot of global challenges, including an energy crisis that was thrust upon him, but whose presidency has been re-examined and looked at as being really, really impactful, and whose post-presidential life was just amazing. And this guy that lived the most Christian, amazing life of service, for decades and decades. And through the Carter Center and through his personal acts and deeds, just lived a life of beauty and grace, along with his wife, Rosalind. I mean, just a beautiful thing to look back on and think, what a wonderful person who was our president and post-president.
Such an inspiration. I love his life of service to his country and to his community, building houses with Habitat for Humanity, right? This is something that, we just need to see more Jimmy Carters, more everyone of what can we do in our community and how can we build those community connections? And I think when we do that, what we will see is less polarization. We will see the temperature turn down. I also think it's going to be harder for misinformation to get out there. When we have more community connections, when people talk more, even stupid stuff that gets out about, pretending there's kitty litter boxes in schools, which isn't happening. But you'll see less of that because people will talk and say, hey, grandma, that's not happening right now, right? Our schools, you're in there, you're seeing the play that our kid was just in, right? When we see more of these community connections, we're going to see misinformation has a harder time, which is really something that we're still struggling to combat. And I think we're going to see Biden's legacy will be a legacy of dealing with tough situations and dealing with tough issues as country and actually solving them, right? Not just tweeting it and making it worse, which is what Trump does, but actually saying, all right, here's what we need to do. Here's the issue we're facing. Here's how we need to get over, whether it is COVID, whether it is infrastructure, whether it is dealing with climate change and prices, right? Here's the issues and real policies to actually address the issues of real Americans.
Yeah, I think people forget when he took office, not only was it in the wake of an attempted insurrection, and there was a lot of uncertainty there. We were in the middle and the depths of COVID, and they had an amazing government response and got shots into people's arms and saved, by every estimate, millions of lives because of that. And we were able to turn a corner. Global inflation was a thing. They engineered a soft landing. They got chips done. They got infrastructure done. They confirmed an historic number of justices. They got the first, African-American woman justice on the Supreme Court. Like you said, on the environmental side with the Inflation Reduction Act, which worked, by the way. If you look at the IRA, when it passed, inflation started coming down, and we just got the last set of data. Again, it's worth repeating. Amazing economic data that came out this week. The stock market is at an all-time high. The job market is robust. Wages have increased. Yes, he had challenges like every president did. But I think we can look back and say, wow, he had an amazingly positive and impactful presidency and was a decent, good person along the way, just like Jimmy Carter.
The two go together, I might argue. The two go together.
Hold on to that goodness, everybody.
Decent policies.
Yeah. Last shout out I want to give is I've had a lot of people reach out to me recently interested in running. We need all that great energy. I'm here to help in Ohio, but for beyond, please look at your local city council, boards, commissions, school boards, state legislature, and drop a comment. Amanda and I do our best to go through the comments and respond. And you can always reach out to us and me for help on that. We need great people to step up, and we're going to be back on offense again. So I'm excited for that.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, this has been Homefront Headlines. I'm Casey Weinstein, and this is my better half,
Amanda Weinstein.
Thanks for joining us this week, and we'll see you next Friday.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.